What's up, Raider Nation? I am Raider Glenn Diesel, and this is Commitment to bringing you excellent podcasts. I'm pretty excited about tonight's podcast, man. I mean, it's been a kind of a long time, man. I got my guy, I got a really good friend of mine, hopping on the show with me tonight to talk some Raider football. Uh, he goes by the name of El Paso EP Raider. What's up, EP?
What's happening? What's happening, Raider Nation? You know we got this, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Me and EP, we're in this Raider text thread, man. I think we've been in this Raider text thread for what 3-4 years now, I guess,
Yes, sir.
somewhere around that range.
That's
We in
about it.
we we're in it with some really good brothers, man, and we had one that left us too soon, man. We had a Raider family member, man, that passed away. Rest in heaven, Fargo Raider. I know you were really good friends with the man. I'll let you go ahead and say something on
Yeah,
that.
sir. First and foremost, man, God bless his family and rest in heaven. We miss you, Farks, but Raider Nation got you, man. You know you always live here forever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We love you, Forrest, man. Um, so we have a lot of content, a lot of dialogue, man. From the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, man. We're constantly talking Raider football, man, and there's a lot of things that we talk about, man. We're like, we should have had that on the podcast. We should have been doing a podcast tonight. I mean, because it's really that good. So that's why I'm excited, and that's why Raider Nation, man. I hope you're excited too, man, because I finally got my guy on with me tonight. So with that being said, I want to ask you a question before I pop off the question. So, what camp are you in? Are you in the camp of stay at 13, or are you in the camp of move up to the into the top three to get your quarterback?
This year I've been in the camp of moving up. It's time. It's time for us to get a quarterback. We got to do whatever it takes. If it means doing what we got to do, yeah, I'm in that camp. I'm in the camp of moving up for sure. I mean, for the right quarterback, the guy that we want, the guy that the Raiders want. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. I hear you, man, and I'm in the same boat with the many conversations that stuff that we've had. I'm in the same camp as you, man. It's like it's time. It's time for us to finally get that franchise quarterback, and in order for us to do that, we got to get up to into the top three. So the question that I want to propose is what play? No, that's not it. So what would you offer to move up into the top three to get that quarterback? Um, I feel that we've, tried to make phone calls. We tried to call, I'm pretty sure we put in a phone call to Washington, man, to try to get Washington's pick because it's no secret, man. AP wants Jaden Daniels. That's his guy. So what better way and for us to secure that we get Jaden Daniels is to move up to number two. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that phone call was made, and for whatever reason, and obviously early on, I got why Washington didn't want to move off that pick because they were holding out hopes that they can get Caleb Williams. Case in fact, there was a report that they tried to move up to. They gave a pretty good haul. I mean, I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen it, but a really good haul that they offered Chicago to move up just one spot, and Chicago said no.
Yeah.
So
No,
that
they're not moving. Yeah, they're not moving.
and so that was to me. I was like, okay, now here's the time. I figured something would have happened if it wasn't for us. Minnesota moving up because they got that extra first round pick that they moved up to get, and them moving up or New York or somebody like that. What I'm saying, whoever that's in the camp to get a quarterback, I figured that they would probably get up there to get number two, and
Okay.
and Washington still hasn't moved. So now I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So they ain't moved. So are they in the camp with the quarterback or for a quarterback? And I can probably say yes. If they don't want to move, they're probably in the camp for a quarterback. So now it's like, what quarterback do they want? Who is their flavor? Is it Jaden Daniels? Is it Drake May? Is it JJ McCarthy? So now they kind of hold everybody hostage. Now, the draft pretty much starts with Washington. What are they going to get? Who do they want? So, um, move on. Go to pick 3. Pick 3 is New England. And I said this about a month ago. I said I will bet my house that Tom Telesco has already made a phone call to Elliot Wolf and said, okay, here's the package. If Jaden Daniels falls to 3, we want our guy. We come to get him, and here it is. Okay, so it doesn't make sense for us to move up to 3 right now, because if we move up to 3 and Washington does take Jaden Daniels, what do we move up for? Why did you waste all that capital for to get up to 3 and you didn't get your guy? You know what I'm saying? So it's best to stay pat, see how the draft plays out, see what Washington does at 2, and if Jaden Daniels is there at 3, jump on it. So I was going through, today to kind of, because I knew we were going to do the podcast and everything. So, what will we offer? So I was kind of going through the value chart to kind of see what it would take to move up, and then whatever teams and stuff, especially Minnesota, because right now the talk is Minnesota has the best ammo. So I was like, okay, so what do they have or whatever? And I was looking, I was like, wait a minute. They only have 2 firsts, right? They got the extra first they picked up by moving back up into the first round, but they don't have a second and they don't have a third. Their next pick is round 4, pick 108. So I was like, okay, that kind of play that weighs, you know what I mean? That weighs heavy, because it's like, okay, if you're trying to offer, an offer, more than likely the team that is coming off, especially a top 3 pick, they want a little bit more ammo this year, especially with the draft being so deep, and pretty much a star-studded, draft with all these prospects. So I think they want just a little bit more for this year, and doesn't look like Minnesota would have that, right? Mm-hmm. Even if they give an extra, like 2025 first round pick or 2026 first round pick or whatever, they still don't have that much ammo for this year. And but they really want to do that because they're in rebuild mode, so do they really want to kind of mortgage the future to move up to get a quarterback, or say, hey, we got 2 first round picks. Yes, we like, Jaden Daniels or Drake May or whatever, but do we value J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix or Michael Penix, not too far from those guys? Let's just kind of stay pat and, see what happens. So then I was kind of looking at our picks. So I was like, okay, so if you were Elliot Wolf and you said, okay, I have an offer. You're with your team. So, okay, look, I got an offer from Minnesota. We'll have the 11th pick. We'll have the 23rd pick in the first round. And then they're offering the 108th pick in the 4th round. Okay. And then obviously I'm not going to go with the future picks or whatever, because we don't know, but just looking at what they can offer this year. So if they took that package, they would have the 2 first round picks. They would have their 2nd round pick, which is 34. They'll have their 3rd round pick, which is 60. And then they won't pick again until 103, which is in the 4th round. Or team, we have an offer from the Raiders. They're offering us the 13th pick in the first round. They're offering us the 44th pick in the 2nd round. They're offering us the 77th pick in the 3rd round. And, obviously whatever future round picks. So now we can sit here and this is what we have on the 2-day draft this year for 2024. We'll have the 13th pick in the first round, the 34th pick in the 2nd round, the 44th pick in the 2nd round, the 60th pick in the 3rd round, and the 77th pick in the 3rd round. So we have 5 picks in the top 77. Whereas if we took, Minnesota's offer, we're picking well in the hundreds. Which one's the best offer? So not saying that, again, just kind of doing a scenario, whatever. To me, I would think that they would take our picks, especially like I said, I think we're in win mode now. We're not in rebuild. I think we're in win mode now. If we get that franchise quarterback, I think we're rocking. So we can offer a little bit more, on the future. And what I have for the future is, I have it in my head, but I want to make sure that I get it right. So this is what I'm offering. Again, I already told you I got the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round pick this year, right? I'm offering you the 2025 first round and the 2026 first round, or 2025 2nd round and a 2025 6th first round. So I'm giving you 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and a third. All right. Now, what I want in return is obviously I'm getting a third pick in the draft, but I want your 103rd pick in the 4th round, and I want your 2025 second round pick. So basically, we're swapping first. We're getting an extra 4th, which is a pick 103, and then we're getting a future 2025 second round pick.
Okay.
So that's my offer. That's what I would offer, because I think that we have to try to do a little bit more extra this year, because again, they do have that the 2 first-round picks. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to kind of look, add that's a little bit more to entice them to kind of move off of 3. So I'm kind of curious about what you would offer. I'll let you go, and then we can just kind of go back and forth and talk about each other's offers. So that's my offer.
So that's a great offer, actually. I didn't think about swapping picks at all when I'm thinking about this. Like, you know how I feel. We talked about this. I'm a huge fan of my late round picks, my 4th, my 5th, my 3rd. That's how I feel like we can build a team. That's how you build a team, actually, in my opinion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm very picky about giving those up, straight up. So what I'm thinking about giving up here is, and I'm going all in, because obviously we want Jaden Daniels. That's what we want at 3, and if he's there, I'm giving up my first, my second this year, my first, my second next year, which both first and second. But on my 2026, I would give them a second and a 4th, not a first.
Okay.
Because what I would do is I would use that first if I need those picks to trade back, get some more picks. But that's just me. If I have to, if they don't want to budge, then I probably end up giving them my 4th this year, and that's probably as much as I can do. But that's what I would give them. I would not give them my first on 2026, but I would give them my second in 2026.
Okay. Yeah, because and the reason why I did a 3, because that's if you go back and look at past history of teams moving up, kind of where we're at 12, 13, or whatever, to moving up into like the top, it's been 3 future first round picks.
Yeah,
you know,
yes, sir. Well, I do feel that second round picks are very valuable. So we're giving up our first 2 picks, period, on both years. You know what I mean? And I think that's very valuable on their part.
Mm-hmm. Now, so going off of my picks, do you think that's a lot that I gave up?
No, not necessarily, because you're actually swapping. You're getting some back, which, like I said, I love building my team with my 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks, and you're actually getting a 4th round pick back. So you're swapping some picks there. So that it sounds like a lot, but people that actually know how to build a team and know what the draft is all about, those are value picks. Those are gold right there. Mm-hmm. So when you get a 4th back, a 3rd back, that's gravy, man. I'll take that all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of like, while I was looking at that, man, and just trying to figure out, again, I was just doing the value chart or whatever, because I look at it as, if we get that franchise quarterback, man, and he hits.
Oh yeah.
Do we really care where those first round picks? Because I'm expecting those picks to be late in the first round anyway.
Yeah, nobody would even care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not expecting to be picking high anyway. So, but yeah, that's kind of why I went with that, and it's weird because we keep hearing, well, I don't want to really move up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give up the draft capital on that, and I'm like, if not now, when? If not now, when are we going to stop trying to do what we did in the past? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. We've seen what that result looks like, and I don't know if this draft class is going to be, or a future draft class, as far as the quarterbacks wise, is going to be considered, a really good elite to very, very, very good quarterbacks coming out in the future. So I feel the time is now with the team that we have that I feel is ready to rock and roll. I think that like you said in the earlier monologue, I think it's time.
Yeah, no, it's time. And I mean, we got to go and look at past history. And I'm not saying this is the same personnel we have here. Obviously, we changed GMs. Tom Telesco. We have a new coach in AP. But at the end of the day, the Raiders have not hit on first round picks. It just hasn't been. It's been a colossal of damage of first round picks, and fortunately, that's what's been holding us back. It's been holding us back bad because we can't build a team like that. You can't build a team like that. But we have hit on some later rounders, which that's where I'm getting at. Is that's how you build your team. Other than Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper in the last decade, that's probably all it. Maybe Darren McFadden. So why are we worried about first round picks? Let's go ahead and go get there.
I mean, if you look at our team now, I don't know if I'll be able to name all of them, whatever, man. But if you look at our team now, it's pretty much all late round picks. You know what I'm saying? And they produce. You got Devon Diablo, you got Max Crosby,
Yep.
you got Nate Hobbs,
Trayvon Moore.
Trayvon Merrick. Well, he was a second round, but
he wasn't
the first.
Yeah,
you got Dylan Parham. Third round. You got Andre James undrafted. You got Thayer Mumford in the 7th round. Help me out.
Zamir White on the 4th round.
Zamir White, you go 4th round. So and then
Nate Hobbs. We got Nate Hobbs in the 4th as well.
And if you look at we got Jack Jones, but he didn't. We didn't draft him, but he was a 4th round. He was a 4th round guy. You know what I mean? We got Chris Smith last year from Georgia. Obviously he didn't play that much or whatever because of Epps, but we got him in the 4th round or something. So our team is pretty much littered with the late round draft picks or whatever. So
Malcolm Coons,
Malcolm Coons, there you go.
Yep.
Third round pick. So I feel confident, man. That's why I was like, okay, giving up, as far as in this scenario that we're doing, for me to give up, my first, 3 picks in the draft, I have no problem in doing that because I have confidence, man, that they will take those late round picks and turn them into gold. And like you said, if whatever quarterback that they decide to get, which obviously, like I said, we're hoping is Jaden Daniels, nobody's going to care about those picks. Nobody's even going to think about those picks, if we're winning. You know what I mean? They can care less. They ain't even going to think about them. So, all right. So if we hit a snag, say in the negotiations or whatever, and you're on the phone and you offered, what you offered or whatever, and Elliot Wolf comes back and says, yeah, that's nice, but I want a player, or, I want some extra, what I'm saying? I want some players or, player or whatever, to make this deal a done deal. So there's the question. What player would you offer in a trade if that's the scenario that goes down?
This is a tough one, man, and I might upset some of the Raider Nation. You know what I mean? But
I don't know. I don't know because EP comes with the fire, man. Like we've got many texts, and I'm like, what did he say that? So Raider Nation, I don't know what he's gonna say, but buckle up.
So, I'm sorry to say this, but Devontae Adams has a lot of value right now. He has a lot of value right now. You know what I mean? And this draft class is deep in wide receivers. I mean, I'm thinking we can grab a number 1 receiver in the 3rd round this year if we have to. I mean that's how deep this draft is. Now, the only thing is that we're talking New England here, right? The only thing is that I don't think New England would want Devontae Adams because who's going to throw him the ball? You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't know if that's the case, but in my opinion, if I was to trade a player, I would trade him. I would trade Devontae Adams to the Jets, but that's just me. Now
Okay.
to New England, I'm willing to give either Colin Miller. That's another. I'm coming at it hard. You know, Colin Miller. I know that he's our left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the older side. He's getting older, but he still has value. He has great value, and I think the New England Patriots, the way they operate is they love to build that offensive line. They love to build the D line and the offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they would go for that. I think they would go for Colin Miller if we were to put him out for trade again. This draft is also deep in offensive tackles, so we can pick up another young stud. We can even move Mumford to the left for the meantime and
Mm-hmm.
pick up a stud on the right side. So there's options here. Now, my last guy will probably be Tyree Wilson. Now, I don't know what he has to offer. I don't know if they would even want him. The problem is that the guys that selected him last year were New England disciples.
Mm-hmm.
So he might fit what they're looking for over there.
Right.
So that's probably about it. I mean, if they start asking for Max, I'm hanging up the phone. You know, I'm hanging up the phone. You know, they start asking for Max. That's it. Phone dropping.
Man, before I even like say a name or whatever, that's the first words out of my mouth is Max is untouchable.
Yep.
So if you're gonna say Max, I'm hanging up the phone right now.
Yep.
So that would have already been the words out of my mouth. Max ain't going
Yep.
nowhere. So I got
Exactly.
to ask you, man. So I do like that. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about this. Like I said, we've had many conversations on this, and like I said, I didn't know you were going to go. Devontae Adams. I had a feeling about Code Miller because you had brought that up. Previous before. So, but I wasn't expecting Devontae Adams. So I do want to ask you though. So, are you doing that deal? Are you trading Devontae Adams before the draft?
So
Or
yeah, it would have to be because I think the Jets will give us the best value here for him. And
okay,
I'm thinking I'm not trading Devontae Adams without a first rounder. They got to give me a first round for
right?
sure. And even if it's just a one first round, that's fine. But they're number 10, I believe, in the draft.
Yeah, they're 10.
Number
Yeah, they're
they're
10.
number 10. So that means we would have the 13th and the 10th pick this year to give up. You know what I mean? And that'll give us ammunition to move up and grab Jaden Daniels. I mean that might even be enticing for Washington to move up to second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and that'll save a little bit of dipping into like basically in my scenario, dipping into the second and third round. You
Yep.
may be able to save either or your second or your third round. So
Yes, sir.
I do like that. And what do you think you can get for Code Miller? What do you think his value is?
Uh right now, if I was to trade him to another team, I believe maybe a second or third. Maybe a third round pick will probably be a second, which is kind of low balling, but nowadays that's just how it works. But if you include him on a trade package to New England, then that might save us, like say for example, a 2026 pick at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We might just have to give up something, and we might just have to give up a first, a second, Cole Miller this year, and a first and a fourth next year. I mean, something like that.
right,
Maybe even just a first next year. So it'll keep us from giving too much up, in my opinion.
right.
If we get that to New England. So, but if we do it with somebody else, then I think we could probably generate the most a third. I mean, I'm thinking that's just me being biased because no diehard Raider fan here, but I think third rounder maybe.
See, that's so we have um, a player, like the player that I would offer is Tyree Wilson,
Okay.
and the reason that I included him into the package or whatever is because he is the seventh pick in the draft. We picked him in the first round, seventh pick last year. He had that foot injury that he was coming out of college or whatever, so he had a lot of rehabbing and stuff to do. So he really didn't show his full potential, because he was working through that or whatever. And he did show flashes at the end once he got healthy and stuff like that. You got glimpses of the talent of, okay, that's why we drafted him, with the 7th pick in the
Yeah.
first round. So it's kind of intriguing to us to say, okay, full year, not having a rehab or whatever, he didn't get no training camp, no mini camps, and stuff like that, for him to come in and totally focus on, getting better. Now he's in the 2nd year in the NFL, so he don't have to worry about, trying to find his way to the stadium, and all the stuff that rookies do, the unfamiliarity of rookie, the NFL life, he's done with that. He's a 2nd year player now, so it's all ball. And with that upside and the flashes that we saw, is intriguing. So for me, I was like, it wouldn't hurt as bad if we got off of them, because again, we seen flashes, but it wasn't like what happened with Khalil Mack. He was all pro at 2 different positions, linebacker and defensive end. He was, defensive player of the year and all that stuff or whatever. It wasn't that, where we knew what Khalil Mack was and we traded him. We don't know what Tyree Wilson is going to be. We think he can be this, but to me, it's best to get rid of him now because we didn't see it. And, if he blows up or whatever, we say, great, that's what we saw. What I'm saying? 2, the second factor, you touched on it, is, it was the New England guys that was in the building that drafted him. Obviously, they felt that he was the player for their scheme. You know what I mean? So I think that plays into, especially if I'm making a phone call, hey, your guys were in the building. This is what they felt was best for their scheme. So this should translate, with you guys. It shouldn't be that much of a transition for him to learn your system and stuff like that. He should, just whatever language and stuff that y'all use or whatever, he should be able to pick that up. Now I thought about Davante Adams, just because, again, we've talked about this on many occasions, that it's best to get rid of a player a year early than a year too late. You know what I mean? And what better way for us to get the better value? And that's, right now. And then his cap hit next year, is going to be 50 something million, I think. I don't really the stats, the actual Sports Track cap hit next year, but I think it's around 45, 50, for a 31, 32-year-old wide receiver. As much as I would hate to get rid of Davante Adams, and again, I know you're saying this, that's the last resort or whatever, but we're also thinking about, okay, if we're trying to get that franchise quarterback, what is the best way to get that quarterback and get that position, which is the most important position on the football field, sold up? So I wouldn't do that deal. Like I said, I don't have him in my, player for this scenario, but I do get why you brought him up, and it does make sense. But if we go get a rookie quarterback, I want him to feel comfortable in having, a top, if not top 3, top 5, the best receiver in the draft or in the NFL. So to have a weapon to throw to, and then Jacoby Myers, oh my God, what he showed.
he's a baller. He's a baller.
You know what I mean? Like, and then, Michael Mayer, so he's going to have, and then Trey Tucker. So he's going to have some weapons. I would like him to be comfortable coming in and really feel confident in the weapons that he's throwing to. And if you look at the comp, Malik Neighbors, which was Jane Daniels' number 1 receiver, his comp is Davante Adams. So he would pretty much throwing to, someone he's comfortable in a Malik Neighbors. So that's some good stuff, man. I like that. Like I said, again, we've always talked about some really good things and stuff like that.
And talking about later rounds, Montana was a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Yeah, 2nd round pick.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not worried about getting rid of these first, man. I'm not. I mean, it's just not. It's ideal to get rid of him. Like I said, it's our last resort. Obviously, I know that if we were to do that, we will take a cap hit, even though we trade him. We'll take a cap hit for him, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
For Devontae Adams, that's one negative there, and the other negative is that we are taking a weapon from our young rookie that we're trying to draft, right? So that doesn't help neither.
Right.
So that's why it's a last resort. Now, Cole Miller is the same way because you're taking his blind side. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
so we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. It's just, I guess what I'm saying is that at what point do we? Another thing too that can cause is distraction in the locker room. It could be one of those things where, hey, why are you guys doing this, man? We're a tight knit group. We don't want to. You don't want to disrupt that. You don't want to disrupt what's going on in that locker room. So there's a lot of scenarios here. There's a lot of obstacles that we got to go through, and obviously we're just going worst case scenario, right? Worst case scenario. I would rather just give up picks, regardless.
Right.
Just give up the picks. If I have to give up my golden ones, like the third, fourth, that's fine. Go ahead. But that'll be like worst case scenario. And Tyree Wilson, you hit it pretty good on that. We didn't see exactly him flourish. I actually thought that. I know I was one of the ones that I kept telling you guys. I think he's gonna come out. He needs some polishing. He needs but I really believed in the kid, and I still do. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna be a really good player. I don't want to say great yet, but I think he's gonna be a really good player. But let me ask you this though: what kind of value will the Patriots see in him? You know what I'm saying? Like if we were to put him in a trade package to the Patriots, what are we saving from that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, if I offer Tyree Wilson, I'm taking my third round pick back.
Okay.
I'm taking my third round pick back. They'll get my second, but I'm taking my third round pick back.
Okay.
And reason for that is, and the reason why I would keep the second is because, again, if Minnesota's trying to move up, they do have the 2 first round picks.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's more valuable.
So picking 11 and 23, you know what I'm saying? To me, is a little bit more valuable than picking, 13 and 44 or 13 and 77. So giving them the 40, keeping the second round pick there, picking 44. So they have 2 first round or have a first round and then 2 second round picks because Minnesota can't offer that. I think I would keep that intact, but they're giving me my third back. And the reason why I picked Tyree Wilson, again, is because, one, like you said, the locker room. He was a rookie last year. You know what I'm saying? Even though they may, it may sting a little bit, he hasn't really been proven like a Colt Miller, like a Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is all pro. You know what I'm saying? He's got one, foot pretty much already in the door for a Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sure.
So he has an opportunity to get his full body inside that door and wear a gold jacket. As far as Tyree Wilson, he showed flashes, but I think the sting will be a little bit less if we did have to offer him in a trade because we did resign. Let's see, we have what's his the defensive tackle.
Christian Wilkins?
No. That we resigned.
Adam Butler.
Adam Butler, and we brought back John Jenkins. So we got John Jenkins and Adam Butler, which balled out last year, and we were advocating bring them back. So we brought them back. We signed Christian Wilkins. We still have Nesta Jade Severa on a roster, and we do also have Byron Young from Alabama. We picked 2 years ago, so we still have depth there, and we can also draft. I mean, this draft has defensive tackles.
There's a lot of defensive tackles. A lot of people are not talking about. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
Ruke Aroro, from Clemson.
Yeah, I was having a hard time saying his name, but yeah.
So I mean, that would be somebody we can get, third, fourth round. You know what I'm saying? So I think that transition would be a lot easier in the locker room or whatever, and kind of be justified if we were able to get him. Now, what would New England be getting is a guy 6'6", 265 with the 87, 88.
Oh no, yeah, he's a freak. He's a freak. You know what I mean?
Wingspan, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, nobody. How many years as a Raider fan have we sat back and when the Raiders picked the guy in the first round, we're like, what the hell? Who is this?
It seems like every year, bro. Every year is like what are we doing here? Other than Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper, straight up. As long as I've been alive, at least, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And the national media is like, well, they reached, that they could have got him later or whatever. We heard nothing of that when we got Tyree Wilson. Why?
Yeah, no,
Because he was rated high. You know what I'm saying? Like he was going top 10 regardless if we got him at 7. You know what I'm saying? So they're getting a guy that everybody had on their draft board, everybody had high on their draft board that has the upside, and like I said, and the measurables and the potential that he has. I think that's why, they would be interested in that deal. So,
and we had him high in our draft board. We were just looking different positions. You know what I mean? But I remember we had him high in our draft board. We just didn't want. We were not looking for that. Like me, I was looking for like Jalen Carter. You know what I mean? Something like that. That because I've been wanting to be for a tackle. You know what I mean?
I wanted cornerback. Christian Wilkins was my guy. Or Christian Gonzalez was my guy.
Yep.
So
so it was just a different position we were looking at. It wasn't that we didn't want him, and not that we didn't even know who he was, because that actually last year is the first year that we actually get a first round pick that we knew who he was. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this guy. The problem with him was just the injury issue. You know what I mean? He had an injury, and that was the issue there.
Right, and you know what I'm saying, we knew that defensive tackle was a position of need. I mean, like, besides, like, we got Christian Wilkins, right? Christian Wilkins is the first defensive tackle that we can say that we've had on our team that is dominant since.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out a name. I don't know where you're at on this or whatever, but for me, it's since Darrell Russell.
I was just gonna say his name, but I was just gonna say him or Tommy Kelly and what's the name? Come on, I know who he is. I got a blank spot right now. Tommy Kelly and
how long ago?
2011, 2010.
So we didn't. So we didn't draft him. It's just somebody that was.
No. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. We got him from New England.
Richard Seymour.
Yeah, Richard Seymour. My bad. I had a blind spot. But yeah, Richard Seymour, Tommy Kelly, and Darrell Russell. That's pretty much it.
So you see the gap there. You know what I'm saying, from Darrell Russell to Tommy Kelly to Richard Seymour and stuff like that. I mean, it's been a long time since we had somebody dominant. So we were not killing that pick. He was high on our big board. So we were like, okay. I mean, Raiderman that was Raiderman's guy. Raiderman was all on, number 19. We got to have 19. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tyree Wilson was his guy. So even though we had 3 different guys, we were all in conjunction saying, okay, one of these 3, it didn't matter, who they got, we're cool with, because that's a need, and we got to, someone that we feel is going to be a beast at that position.
Yep, exactly. No, I agree. I mean, so yeah, I mean, if you give up Tyree Wilson and you get your 3rd round pick, I'll take that. I'll take that all day. You know what I mean? We're getting rid of a young player because he is very young too, and unfortunately, that's what it takes. Then that's what it takes. I mean, like I said, we're in a position right now to get a franchise quarterback. We're in that position. We need to attack that. We need to get aggressive in that situation. You know what I mean? Like for example, me and you talked about it. Kansas City, our rivals. What did they do? They got aggressive and went after Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Like they got a stopgap QB with Alex Smith, built that team, and then brought Patrick Mahomes to take him over the top. But they still did what they had to do. You know what I mean?
Right. And I gave examples the other day when we were sitting there talking, like you said, Kansas City. Then you had Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
were building a team or whatever, going through coach after coach. And, you know what I'm saying? They had like 4 head coaches in 4 years.
yep,
They got Sean McDermott, and Sean McDermott came in. They felt that was the stabilizer in the room that they needed, the culture builder. And once they figured out, okay, this is our coach. Again, after going through, 3 head coaches in 3 years, they got Sean McDermott, which is the 4th coach in 4 years. They said, this is a guy.
yep,
Okay. Once they identified this is our head coach, the very next year they went out and got traded up to get Josh Allen. They
yep,
felt, okay, the time is right to get that franchise quarterback. Cincinnati, your guy, Joe Burrow. They did it different. They went in and they seen the opportunity, said we're not passing up this opportunity to get a franchise quarterback.
yeah,
Even though our team's not set, it's not ready yet, he's that force multiplier that we need. We're going to get him and we're going to build around him.
yep,
And they did in the second year and in the Super Bowl. So let's go back. Kansas City, you talked about Kansas City. Kansas City's second year, they're in the Super Bowl. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, they have made 6 straight playoffs under Josh Allen. They've made 2 AFC Championship games, in the 6 years,
yep,
and your guy Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, second year they made the playoffs. 3 of the 4 years that he's been there, and they went to the Super Bowl in the second year.
yep. Exactly.
So
And then my other guy,
last year with
my other guy that hurts me dearly. You know who? My other
CJ
guy,
Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, the guy that I kept telling everybody, I'll sell the farm for this kid. I'll sell the farm for this kid. And I mean, I knew that he was going to be great. His demeanor was just different. I look in a quarterback, in me, in a deep trait in a quarterback is that swagger, that fire, that willing to, to understand the fact that I'm going to go out there and give him my all. You know what I mean? Like the killer instinct that makes you feel it. You know what I'm saying? Makes his players feel it. And I felt like that's what C.J. Stroud was about. He would gather his teammates and let them know that he was there for them. They were no matter what the circumstance, they were gonna win. They believed they were gonna win regardless. You know what I mean? And fortunately, well, look what the Texans did. They moved up too. They moved up to go get
Yep.
him.
Yep.
And reports are saying that they wanted Bryce Young, but the Panthers took Bryce Young. So guess what they did? They pedaled back to Plan B, and they said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go get our quarterback. Not only did they get their best defender in the draft, but they got the best quarterback in the draft. Why are we scared to do that? You know what I mean? And that team, in my opinion, that team still got a lot of holes. You know what I mean?
They
That
still
team
got
still, yeah, they're
a
still
lot of
being
holes.
built. They're still being
Yep.
built, and they were not scared to do that. First year head
Nope.
coach, rookie coach, and look what they did, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you listened to my podcast that I dropped a couple days ago, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's kind of what I talked about. I actually talked about, what is the blueprint to building a playoff and or Super Bowl team. And I talked about this. I said, there's different ways to skin a cat. There's different ways to build a team, but regardless of how you do it and what avenue and what path you take, it always ends up in the same. All the teams ended up in the same destination, and that was with a franchise quarterback, and you got to have the right head coach.
Yeah.
That's the 2 things that you got to have, and I feel we have the right head coach in AP. We
Yes,
have
we do.
that coach. What's next? What's left is getting that franchise quarterback. So,
right.
so we talked about what we would do, what our game plan, what we want the Raiders to do, and that's to move up to get that franchise quarterback. We talked about what quarterback that we want. We've talked about what kind of package that we would give up. you know what I'm saying, to get that franchise quarterback. We even threw in some players on, you know, trying to make the deal, you know, to finalize the deal if they're asking for players. And we talked about what players that we would offer to get the deal done. Now, I
Right.
ask you, EP,
Okay.
would the risk be greater than the reward if the Raiders were to move up in the top 3 and we do give up all those assets to get that quarterback? Is the risk greater than the reward?
So the way I live my life, ain't no risk. You know what I mean? No risk and no biscuit, bro. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is risk in everything you do, right? I mean, regardless. And in this situation, there's risk for Tom Telesco. There's risk for AP that if they get it wrong, they lose their job. We know that. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows that. I mean, that's just the way it is in the NFL. You know what I mean? So, but regardless of the situation, if you go and do this move, I think the risk was worth it. The reward is there because you tried. You took a shot and you missed. And now we just got to pivot. You know what I mean? But the
Mm-hmm.
shot was there. Now, I'll tell you right now, from talking to the Raider Nation family out there, us, ourselves, and our guys out there, that risk will probably be more understandable. You know what I'm getting at? I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of Raider Nation that would actually understand if we fail, we failed. That's fine. But we understood what the assignment. We understood what it was going, where we were going at. You know what I mean? And it just
Mm-hmm.
failed because everybody's on the same board. No, we got to go get our quarterback. So if we go up there to go get Jaden Daniels, and for some reason Jaden Daniels not it, well, everybody wanted him, including myself. Everybody did not think that way. So
Right.
I really don't think there's the risk of losing. Okay, so say if it fails, the risk is you don't have your first round picks and all that. But like I said, you can build a team with later rounders if you hit right, if you work right, if you do your homework right, the team can still be built. Look at the Rams. They haven't had a first round pick to this year,
Yep.
and they've been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, and constantly in the playoffs. And they're players that they come out of nowhere, like Puka from out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if we do it right, we can build it right. But I think the reward is worth it, in my opinion.
So to your deal that you were talking about before I get to mine, I don't want to forget, or you know. So you know, you were saying, you know, you were bringing up the different teams and stuff like that. You brought up the Rams, and the Rams did it twice. So the
Yep.
Rams did all that, right? And they drafted Jared Goff #1 overall. You know what I'm saying? And um, if you remember, they had Jeff Fisher. All
Yep.
right, I don't think he's a good coach, and I think that's why he hadn't got another head coaching job. I don't think he's a really good head coach. Jared Goff was considered a bust. They were ready to run him out of town. Oh, that was a bad pick, you know, and all that stuff, right? Exit Jeff Fisher, enter Sean McVay, and what did Sean McVay do?
Turn
With
around.
the right coaching or whatever, turn Jared Goff around. And they made the Super Bowl. Now,
Yep.
I hear people say, "Well, okay, even though he made the Super Bowl, whatever, he come off of them. Okay, that's great. He came off of them, right? Because they gave up the picks or whatever to get Jared Goff. Okay, that's fine. He got him to a Super Bowl. I think the reward outweighed the risk. They got him to
Yeah.
the Super Bowl. He felt like, okay, he has a little bit of limitation in my offense and what I want my quarterback. So let's trade him away. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring in another quarterback, which they did bring in another #1 pick in Matthew Stafford. I mean, it wasn't like he was a bum. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
No.
it's
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford. And
Yeah.
what happened? He takes him to the Super Bowl and he wins the Super Bowl. But you cannot tell me that Raider Nation right now wouldn't trade places with the Los Angeles Rams. If
Oh
they
no.
got
Yeah.
two Super Bowl appearances and one Super Bowl, giving up all that stuff and not having a first round pick until this year, we'll
Oh
take that
yeah.
all day, right?
Definitely, all day.
Okay, so to me, the risk to go get Jaden Daniels, to me, is going to be greater than the reward
Yep.
if he hits. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I look at it as you got to have force multipliers. You got to have those guys, right? And the way I look at it is, you get the guy that we feel that when things ain't around him, Joe Burrow, like you said, Joe Burrow didn't have anything around him. You know, he was running for his life. You know, he got hurt, ACL in his rookie year because he didn't have, he had a crappy line. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going out and getting the kid, I say kid, well, he's a kid to me because I'm old, but this young man help on the left side. They didn't go out and get Penei Sewell. They went out and got him a weapon. They went out and got his receiver, Jamar Chase, and they go to the Super Bowl. Why? Because he's a full force multiplier.
Yep.
I want quarterbacks that when things ain't around them, that it's not great. We may lose pieces here and there. Tyreek Hill leaves, Patrick Mahomes, and he still goes to the Super Bowl. He still goes to win Super Bowls or whatever because, what I'm saying, he's that guy. When you get that guy and it's time to pay that guy, the money that you have to pay him nowadays, this quarterback scale, next man up mentality. You know what I'm saying? When you start paying your quarterback, you better have a quarterback that can overcome things around him. Yeah. Not have, elite pieces here and there because you can't pay them because you're paying, the quarterback. You want a quarterback that you can do that, right? So to me, the risk is greater than, the reward is greater than the risk to me.
Yeah.
Because if he hits, it's done. We got a quarterback for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Pieces go, pieces come, pieces go, pieces come. But we know year in and year out, we're making the playoffs, and we're putting ourselves in a opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. Now, if it doesn't work, okay, it doesn't work. We took a shot at it. Whatever. We missed out on first-round picks anyway. And what's the percentage of first-round picks that succeed in the NFL is what, 20%? Of first-round picks hitting? Okay, so what? Continue to build a team with the later-round picks or whatever, and,
and free agency.
Try it again. Baseball, if you're considered a Hall of Famer if you fail 7 times out of 10. If you get 3 hits, that's a 300 batting average. If you get 3 hits out of 10, you fail 7 times, you're a Hall of Famer. I like to use that analogy or whatever because we are, talking sports or whatever. So do you think that they care? Okay, well, this guy failed 7 times, but, I'm not going to pay him, 200 mil, 300 million, whatever, because, man, he failed 7 times out of 10. You know what I'm saying? You can't have that mentality. You have to have that all-in mentality. If it doesn't work, you know what? We're going to try again. We're going to try again until we get, because once we get that guy, everything else is going to be set. That's how I feel.
Of course. And you hit it right on the head, dude, with you're talking about an alpha. This is an alpha. We're talking about an alpha guy, an alpha male that goes in that locker room, takes command, and can look at his teammates in the eye and says, I got this. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and I don't want to go out on a tangent, previous quarterbacks we had here, they were not alphas. They were not alphas. We every time we would hear excuses, it's because there's no O-line. We don't have no receivers. And then like you said, we have to pay all these people when we had everybody. Now we have to pay him, and it just didn't work. You know what I mean? It didn't work. It was never working because we had to lose people regardless. Mm-hmm. Look at CJ Stroud. He went in as a rookie. His line was not good and he made that line good though. I think they brought in what's his name from Miami, which great offensive lineman. What's his name?
Laremy Tunsil.
Yeah, Laremy Tunsil. So he's a great lineman, but. So they were helping him out, but who's his receivers? Who was he throwing?
Nico Collins. some guy from I can't remember the guy from Cowboys. I
Yeah,
think he's the third receiver, but it's no names. Like I
yeah,
know Nico Collins. I don't follow Houston that much or whatever, but I do know Nico Collins, right?
yeah. It was Nico Collins, and what happened? Like he made them better. He made their names. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
he didn't need nobody to come in and say, okay, this is my receiver now. Now, yeah, we had some and I'm talking about Derek Carr. Yeah, he made some guys good. I'm not gonna say he wasn't. The problem is that he wasn't an alpha, and that doesn't work. And in our division, it doesn't work. You got Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. If you don't have an alpha in that position, we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting past those guys, and that's the goal here. Is you got to pass those dudes right there. You got to pass
Right.
those dudes. Can we win? Yeah. Can we beat them once in a while? Yeah. But we beat them this year in Christmas Eve. But who won the Super Bowl? They did.
Right.
At the
Right.
end of the day, they got to hold that Lombardi Trophy, not us. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I want to be the opposite. And
Yeah.
in order
It's not
in
supposed
order
to
for us
be.
to be that way, we got to have that alpha. Now I understand. Like say for example, Patrick Mahomes. Nobody made excuses for him this year with lack of receivers. You know what I mean? Nobody said anything. And what happened? He just goes and wins another one. That's all he did.
Yep.
So I mean, I think that the risk we got to take the risk. No risk and no biscuit. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
And see, and it's like, you know, again, I look at it as if there's quarterbacks, you know, and we talked about this, that Gardner Minshew's, going back to Alex Smith or whatever, when they had before they got Mahomes, and then Andy Dalton before they had, got Joe Burrow and stuff like that. Um, those guys are okay, and it's yes, it's up and down roller coaster. It's kind of, are we going to make the playoffs or are we not going to make the playoffs? We make the playoffs one year, then we might miss the playoffs the next 3 years. It's not this consistency, right? You get those force multiplier, those elite franchise quarterbacks, the Mahomes, the Burrows, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens. Uh, I don't want to go too. I mean, it's so many, but they're going to be in the playoffs year in and year out. They're going to be in the playoffs, right? And they're going to give themselves a chance to win a Super Bowl. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, has he really had a top-notch receiver? I mean, he has. I mean, he's had middle of the pack receivers or whatever, right? And it's like, do you think that Buffalo is stressing right now? They got rid of Stephon Diggs. If we did that, if we had Stephon Diggs on this, say on this team or whatever, we'll be killed for letting a superstar go like that, right?
Yep.
Do you think they're worried? No, because they got that alpha dog. They got
Yep.
Josh Allen. They say, I mean, we can stick anybody in here. You know what I'm saying? Because we got that dude, right?
Exactly.
And I don't want to continue to keep. And I understand like what AP was saying. It's time to stop the Band-Aid, right? And he talked about it in the press conference. He said that I know I'm on borrowed time. I got, I'm the head coach or whatever, but I'm on borrowed time. I got to win. In order for me to win, I got to have a quarterback. It ties, together. He understands coach, franchise quarterback. To be successful in this league, you got to have a coach. You got to have a franchise quarterback. And he goes, and he goes, if I don't win, if I don't have that, I'm not going to be here. This is not for long league. He said that. So he understands that he has to get one of those quarterbacks. That's why he's not being shy. I got to go get my quarterback, and Jayden Daniels is my quarterback, because you cannot have these middle of the road quarterbacks that's good to above average that can get you to the playoffs every now and then or whatever. And then when it's time to pay them, you can't pay good quarterbacks elite money. You just can't do it because you can't build around them. They're not a quarterback that can lead, or basically, are you the truck pulling the trailer, or are you the trailer being pulled by the truck? And
Yep.
those good to above average quarterbacks are the trailers being pulled by the truck. And the truck is the team around them. And when that stuff falls off, you're in trouble.
Yep.
So I'm with you. We got to get that quarterback. So, man,
Yep.
EP, bro, this is fun, man. I'm so happy, man, that you got to jump on with me, man, and I hope we get to do this again. I think this is good. I think Raider Nation is going to like this content. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
I just want to say thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. This was fun. It was awesome. It was a pleasure. Anytime we do it, I mean, next time we come back on, we'll have some more content for Raider Nation that needs to hear this. And Raider Nation out there, you guys want to come in here, express any opinion you have. We don't care. Come on in here, say what you want to say. Tell us how we did. Tell us how bad we are. You know what I mean? Don't matter. But this is what it is about. It's Raider Nation. We try to we have a way of talking sports, man. And I'll tell you right now, Raider Nation is super smart. They know their stuff, man. Straight up, they know their stuff. But hey, I
well,
appreciate you, BB, and you're the man. You're doing it. You're doing it.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Hey, if you like this podcast, man, if you like what you heard from me and EP, man, it's a commitment to bring you excellent podcast. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter or X at Glenn Bournes 1. So yeah, Raider Nation, y'all stay up, bro.